Yesterday, when I posted my video on why I was going to stop making videos, towards the end, I showed a picture of myself with my cornrows, and I said that I was wearing this new style. Well, it's not new for me, I've worn them before, but I said that I was doing this in tribute to the rapper Nipsey Hussle. And some of you, not all of you, but some of you took that opportunity to go in on me as to why I would pay tribute to this rapper. And so today's video is why. I didn't mention it in yesterday's video because that's not what the video was about. And I had figured by now most of you knew the man and his work, but I see I was wrong. So I want to just point out just a couple of things that this man did in his life to make his world a better place for his people. And so I'm going to jump right in and just show you just a few of the many achievements of this great brother so that you could understand why I feel it's important to honor this black man. I want to start with a verse from the Bible in Matthew 23:11. It says in part, "The greatest among you shall be your servant." And this is what this man was. He was a servant to the people, despite being a very wealthy person who was quite humble. Many people didn't even know this man had more money than a lot of your favorite rappers, but he was humble because he used it to create opportunities in his hood. Now, in life, he had made many business accomplishments. In recent years, he had made it his mission to create jobs and educational opportunities in his hometown that would provide a pipeline for others to beat the odds and work towards creating generational wealth. It all started with him selling a mixtape for $100 to create a technology hub in Crenshaw. In October of 2013, Hussle was getting ready to drop his 8th mixtape, Crenshaw, for free when he decided to flip the script on the traditional model and change his work. And quoting him, he said, "We were just like, well, let's print it up, a limited edition novelty game, kind of like video games when you get the extra package that comes with the headset." And he was talking to XXL at the time. And before elaborating on where he got the concept, he said, and I quote, "I had been reading a book about what makes people talk about things, what makes things go viral, and what makes things contagious." And he said there was an example in the book about a restaurant owner who made a $100 cheesesteak. And it made some people curious. It made other people upset. But more than anything, it created conversation. And he ended up on the Oprah show, and he also ended up on David Letterman talking about this $100 cheesesteak, end quote. So Hussle sold out the physical copies of Crenshaw in 24 hours, netting himself $100,000. And instead of going shopping for sneakers and using that money to honor his own greatness, he used it and poured it back into the community. Among the people who bought the mixtape were Jay-Z, who purchased 100 copies to show his support to the young entrepreneur, and Rick Ross, who also endorsed him. In 2013, an article about his marketing effort, Billboard wrote about the campaign that Hussle had called Proud to Pay, and I quote, "While the pricey physical copies were numbered, autographed, and included a ticket to a future performance of the 28-year-old rapper, Crenshaw billed itself," and they're talking about the mixtape, "as more than a merely boldly priced deluxe edition." And to go on, they said, Hussle called the tape the first step in the new patron model, where a few super fans shoulder the burden that artists usually spread across as broad an audience as they can find. So, end quote. And so this is how Billboard felt about his endeavor, which was very positive. And many of you don't even know that he also owned the strip mall in Crenshaw that housed his Marathon clothing store. Now, earlier this year, Forbes reported that the rapper and his business partner, Dave Gross, had paid a couple of million to purchase the plaza, which he hoped to rebuild as a six-story mixed-use residential and commercial complex. In November of last year, Hussle told Fox 11 that the property would include a barbershop, a Creole seafood restaurant, and a store where locals could purchase prepaid cell phones, fragrances, and more. In 2017, Hussle opened Marathon Clothing, which was a smart store that allowed his fans to purchase the merchandise and use an app. So Marathon actually was opened in 2017, but the expansion was then forwarded to 2018. And he had an app that people could use to access exclusive content from him. And Hussle told Billboard that his plan was to open additional stores in the top 10 markets of the United States. And he said, this is us trying to disrupt retail, create a theme park for the brand. This is us trying to create a retail network to become vertically integrated. And he said, this is us trying to super serve the core with an upgraded experience. We are trying to fuse hip-hop, fashion, and technology. We believe that's what the Marathon store is. It's an immature concept. It hasn't evolved to its fullest form yet. But I think, and this is quoting Nipsey, that we're in the process of seeing technology integrated with everything become a part of the world. So I think that we're just putting our chips on experience. We think this is where retail is going, and we want to be one of the leaders. This brother was extremely smart. He was very well read. And for those of you who are trying to step your game up, just know that, even if you're not college educated, you can learn just by expanding your mind, opening a book, and reading about where it is that you want to go. Those of you who follow my books, you know that I have a book called Hustling 101, which talks about this very thing, how to get your hustle game up. Cassidy, who was one of my favorite artists, based on his incredible lyrical skill, had a song which was actually my favorite song by him called I'm a Hustler. And he talked about how he was able to use his talents to sell things, not necessarily things that were good for you, but the bottom line is that you can learn how to market yourself and to create a brand for yourself. And so this is something that Hussle did in a positive way. He created a brand, and he then put other people on. With his partner Gross, he offered he started a co-working space and STEM program in his hometown. So he created this thing called Vector 90 to create links between young talent from impoverished neighborhoods and opportunities in Silicon Valley. Hussle also created this space in partnership with Gross, offering flexible short-term leases, daily passes, monthly memberships, private offices, and custom build-outs. On another floor in the building is a STEM program that's open to local children through an application process. At the time, Hussle said he hoped Vector 90 would provide an alternative to gang culture for the young people in his community. And this is coming from someone who was a former gang member. And he quotes, Hussle, I quote, said, I remember feeling like, number one, what's the point? And number two, maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I'm not even supposed to be ambitious. Maybe I'm not even supposed to be thinking this big and thinking outside of the box. Maybe I should just follow suit, he said. And then he goes on to say, that's a dangerous thing. I would like to prevent as many kids from feeling like that as possible, because what follows is self-destructive. Hussle always advocated for ownership and entrepreneurship among artists, even after partnering with Atlantic Records to release his Grammy-nominated debut album, Victory Lap, which featured Kendrick Lamar. Hussle further elaborated on his business ideology and the importance of creating additional content outside of music, saying, as an artist, there's a business model that exists in the music industry to prevent you from having ownership, to prevent you from being a partner in the lion's share of the profit. The value is created in content. So when I think of us as hip hop artists, we create content, but we don't have a wide product line. With the Marathon clothing store and Proud to Pay, Hustle was, and that's the end of his quote, but I want to say with the Marathon clothing store and Proud to Pay, Hustle was working to change this narrative. So people, I don't mind when you question things that I do, because then it opens up an opportunity for me to teach. I'm going to end this by showing you just a small collage of the many, many things this man was responsible for in his lifetime. And this will help a lot of you who are in the dark to know that this is why there was an entire arena filled with people to attend his memorial. He was more than just a rapper. This man created opportunities for others, and he did it on the low, which is why those of you who questioned my choice in giving tribute to this great brother questioned it. This is why. You didn't know. And it's no shame in not knowing, but now you know. Thank you for watching the video. God bless you and keep you. In the mighty name of Yeshua.